cartoon commentary is not intended for children. Tom, Keith, and Cory are usually wrong, and anything they say can and probably will offend you. Apologies in advance. Commence the podcast.
Cartoon
commentary.
Well, we are recording, so let's technically troubleshoot this for 2 hours.
Wait, are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, because I don't see any,
there is nothing.
We go over this, like,
Every time.
Where I go, we're recording, and then 30 seconds later, you're like, wait, we're recording? I'm like, yeah, we're recording.
And then we have the whole conversation about how Keith is the only one that can tell we're recording.
Yeah, because I'm omnipresent.
Nope. That doesn't sound familiar to me, though, so I think that's the first time. This is the first time we've had this discussion.
Omnipotent?
You're impotent.
No.
Yeah.
No. Nope. That's not a thing. Nope. I mean, that's a thing, but I don't got that thing. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You're married, you got a kid, you got another one on the way. Trust me, it doesn't work anymore because you don't want more than 2 kids. That's it. Right after the second one, it just fucking dies. Unless you're Mormon.
That's how it works, huh?
Yeah. If you're Mormon, you just keep on having them.
Okay.
No?
I don't know anything about religion, Keith.
Oh, that's true.
I edit these. You're going to make me have to now look up the Mormon religion to see if I need to edit this out because Keith's been highly offensive to Mormons.
It's not all Mormons, but there's like communes out in Utah where like people have like 20 or 30 kids at a time. And then like
I was going to say, is it offensive to say Mormons get lucky? I don't know. That's not an offensive thing.
I feel like there's so much that people get offended about right now that it's just like there's
it's not like he went Mormons, they fuck.
Now you did.
Well, like now it happened. I mean they definitely do. Like, that's why they're still Mormons, right?
Oh god.
It's kind of like a bird species. Like they all stop fucking, and guess what? They die out. So I don't know a single person that has been converted into Mormonism. Is what I'm saying. And like they are breeding their own population. They're not converting new people.
So what you're saying is dodos were originally Mormons, and then they became atheists, and they just stopped fucking.
No.
So hold on. Who's fucking birds?
Oh, Keith, who's fucking birds?
You got me, man. You got me. I mean, other birds, I guess. Other birds are fucking birds. I mean, hopefully.
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Cartoon Commentary.
Nope, we gotta stop. Because
a podcast
Cory
where
still has
3 bird fuckers.
No, Cory's got background noise.
Really?
Yep.
You can hear that?
Well, look at the bar. Yeah.
I'm not looking at anything. What the?
Look at your bar in clean feed. You got like a solid 1/10 of a bar of.
God damn it!
I mean, you don't have to turn it off if you're gonna like sweat your ass off in there. I just wanted to point that out. Plus, I was totally interrupting you anyway.
No, but can you hear it?
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah, a little bit.
It will come through in the recording.
All right, we got like 30 minutes. Let's bang this out. Keith, have we been recording this whole time? Or did you stop it?
We got 8 minutes of recording in here.
Okay, I'm probably not cutting any of this out.
Yeah, whatever.
Good stuff.
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Cartoon Commentary, a podcast where 3 bird fuckers in their 30s discuss new, old, and usually weird cartoons for your amusement. I'm dying. I'm Cory, the Flesh Xavier.
I'm Tom Foolery O'Connell.
I'm Keith, assume the crash position, Barnofsky.
And this is a shit show. We're talking about KaBlam.
KaBlam!
Yeah, it has an exclamation point. I'm sorry, I did not have the right inflection
I got your
when I
back.
said that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. You are the Prometheus to my Bob, so.
Nice.
I'm surprised when I suggested this episode. I am incredibly surprised you guys both had watched it before. I thought this was like one of those random like Nickelodeon cartoons that I saw and like no one else in the world watched.
No, I used to watch that shit all the time. In fact, I know this would be getting really ahead of things. During the closing credits, they do that little pledge. I used to stand up and say the pledge with them.
Oh, Tom,
That-
we can, and I think we will.
I think we will.
Yeah.
Oh, we will.
So I definitely, it was one of those shows that like, I think had completely stricken from my memory until you brought it up and gave me a link to an episode. I was like, oh, I watched the shit out of this. I don't remember anything from it, like specifically, but I definitely watched this a whole lot. And it was exciting right up until I actually watched it. I mean, it was actually still, there's some good pieces, right?
There's some good pieces. There's some stinkers. So one thing that I guess nostalgia goggles kind of like glossed over for me going into this is how bad some of the actual like animation on like the Henry and June parts are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So before we go any further, I guess I should explain the general
Yeah, the structure
idea
of the show.
behind this show.
Yes.
In the first episode, at the very least, they kind of describe it as a comic book that you get to watch, as opposed to one that you have to go through the process of reading yourself.
So like TV.
So a cartoon.
Yeah. Cartoons, basically. It's weird that they don't really call it cartoons, but I guess that's because not all of it is cartoon. Like, some of it is stop motion, kind of, whatever.
True.
Or, like they say later in the episode, Chuckamation, which I thought that was going to be something better, and then it was terrible. But we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. We'll wait for that.
But I kind of want to like skip ahead to a different episode where just to see if they improve the Henry and June animation, and that's what I remember, because it's rough in this first one where it's like this is like on the level of like the drawings I would do in elementary school.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like Game of Thrones. Like when you watched it through the first time, which hopefully it wasn't after the show was finished where you actually watched the last two seasons. Like when I watched it through the first time, it was on season 4 and it was great. And then season 5 came out and I wanted a refresher and I went back and I started at season 1 and I was like, where's the production quality here? Because they actually improved it every season thereafter as they got more people watching it. So what you're saying is, like, my point is what you're saying is that, like, this was season 1, episode 1. You remember it being better, and it probably was at some point because that was the first episode, which was likely maybe even a pilot episode where it was, like, half-assed.
Cheap.
Cheap shit.
Yeah. It really does look cheap. And I was actually wondering if, they go into this whole comic book discussion, how it's a revolutionary new thing. It's a comic book that you don't have to flip the pages or worry about paper cuts or get staples stuck in your finger because we do this all for you. And I'm thinking, is this just their way of saying we're going to say it looks like a comic book, but it's really we just have no budget whatsoever. That's our cover.
I wonder though if they were, and I can't tell if they were doing that satirically because you're watching a show that's a cartoon show, and they're saying they're going through a comic book. Like, I just don't know if they were doing that satirically, where it's like, look, it's like a comic book, but you get to watch it. Like, as if they're being satirical about the concept of TV and the concept of a cartoon on TV. Like, I think that honestly, there were some actual like deep cuts in this episode that I feel like I appreciated. And that's not the only one. I'll try to remember to bring up the others that I kind of mentally notated, but like that's not the only deep cut in the episode. I feel like there was some wittiness there that I definitely appreciated going through this.
Well, here's the thing, as I'm looking at this now, the only actual comic book segments are Henry and June.
Right.
So Sniz and Fondue, Action League Now, Life with Loopy, Prometheus and Bob, those aren't comic books. The only comic book segments are Henry and June. So it's like they're describing just their portion of it. And I kind of wonder, like, at the time, if they thought they weren't going to do that much animating on this part.
Maybe.
Because, like, if it's a comic book, comic books don't move. So maybe just have someone voice acting the parts.
Right.
But then they ended up animating it for some reason poorly, for the most part.
Sorry.
Sense.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, that could very well be what happened.
So maybe this show was like, okay, we got these like 4 different studios that are doing these little shorts, whether it's like animated shorts or stop motion shorts that are lasting about 6 minutes apiece. So, or like 5 minutes apiece actually. And we need like that is not enough. But if we string all of them together into a show, we can create a couple characters as a host. Here's the concept. I could see them doing that, where it's like, here's all these side projects that the studio is working on with these different teams, and they have these 4 things that they cannot devote the resources to be shows on their own, but think they might get the viewership by combining them into a show if they give it like an overarching, purpose of why.
So
they're
basically, whatever we have, just throw it into the pot.
Yeah, it's like a hunter's stew, It's like, oh, you caught a rabbit and I caught a mushroom, so let's cook that.
Yeah, that's kind of really how it feels when you watch the show, because there's really no connection between any of the segments. There's no, it's just a mishmash of, shorts.
So, real quick, before I think Cory gets into like the first episode that we're watching, I just want to say that the entrance to the theme song to the show is. And it's basically spoken. It's not really sung. It's assume the crash position. Hold on tight. Take a deep breath for a new kind of cartoon show. It's KaBlam! And it's like, I can't assume the crash position is like the airplane bent over, like doubled forward, heads between your legs, covering the back of your head.
Kiss your ass goodbye.
Hold on tight. You already are. Take a deep breath. I'm sorry. Put your head between your legs and then take a deep breath. I dare you. That's not possible. And
well, that's hot, Keith.
And then they tell you for a new cartoon show, that's like the biggest April Fool's prank. It's just like, wait, get ready to fucking die. Just kidding. Watch TV.
KaBlam!
Yeah. There you go.
So, I gotta say, the second that I saw what the first cartoon was, I was immediately like, I wish I'd watched this before
you
I
suggested
this episode.
I feel like that's kind of a magical thing, though. Is like sometimes you're just like, let's just suggest this because I think I'm gonna like it, and then we get to shit on it.
I gotta say, Sniz and Fondue, I haven't checked anything to see if like they always have the same cartoons in every episode of KaBlam, But holy shit, I feel like I watched a lot of KaBlam back in the day. I don't remember this at all. I think I
You don't
just
remember
blocked
them?
it out.
Oh,
No,
Really?
not Sniz and Fondue, because they're terrible.
They are terrible,
they are
but I
terrible.
Oh
remember
my
them being
god,
like in
it's
every
terrible.
episode.
All right, well, apparently I just have a selective memory that did not
You
feel the need to form any synapses for this shit.
I mean,
just
like,
block them out.
when did KaBlam, like, when did season 1 episode 1 air? Like,
So 95?
do we need to look this up? Because
I think it was 95.
I feel like it must have been earlier than that. I'm gonna
1996, October 11th.
96.
really
Ah.
okay. So this has no excuse then, because if this
That
was
one year
like,
made a big difference.
well, if this was a little,
Yep,
if
fuck
this was
them.
if this was like 92, you could be like, or 91, you could be like, oh, like they're still figuring out cartoons, like, you had some late 80s stuff, but like, I mean, granted, you had cartoons all the way back to probably like the 60s, but like at the same time, cartoons didn't get to like a good era for a while. So I feel like by 96 there was a lot of really solid cartoons out there, and this was not. Sniz and Fondue were, I like the concept. It was just executed very poorly. That's what it is.
Keith, tell
Oh,
us about this concept.
They're two siblings that apparently just fucking hate each other, and Corey, you go through the storyline, man. That's not my job.
So here's the thing with Sniz and Fondue is it even said that they're siblings? I'm pretty sure they're all just housemates.
Well,
Yeah.
I was confused.
I was going to ask. I actually have that. I wrote that down to ask you guys. Are they a family? Because I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. Like I'm fortunately looking at a synopsis, so I even know who the other two characters
Yeah,
are:
so-
Snuppa,
Honestly,
and Bianca.
my first time watch through, I thought Sniz and Fondue, because of their bedroom like rivalry, it seemed very sibling like.
That's what I thought too.
I automatically assumed that the other two characters, because one was male and one was female, I automatically assumed that they were parents. Yeah, Tom, if you gotta ask, I assumed their genders.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus, Keith.
I know. It was a wrong thing. You know what? It was back.
It was a simpler time
It was
back
a show.
then.
It was a show back in the '90s, and I feel like you could make that assumption. Well, that's the thing, though, is because Sniz and Fondue, granted, actually are, I don't know, they're a little actually gender ambiguous, but
Yeah.
the parents, I feel like they made more like, well, which might not actually be parents. I was like, oh, okay, they're like brothers maybe, and they're like, these are the parents. Okay, like, got it. Well, and the only reason why I say brothers is because they're being very destructive to each other, which is another, man, just digging a hole of gender identity. But at the same time, we're watching a cartoon from the '90s, and that's exactly what they would do. They would framework it as like two animosity driven destructive brothers, like, having it out for each other. And that's the mindset that I was getting in. And then when the parents came in, it was like, which may not be parents. Corey,
Yeah, not parents.
they're not parents.
So we're introduced to Sniz and Fondue with Sniz jumping on Fondue's bed for the billionth time. He's asked to leave, and they make it a point to say it's actually the 1 billionth and third instance of him asking him to leave. Fondue is the one with the, I guess, the chef's hat?
Yeah,
Question
blue
mark?
chef's hat.
Blue chef's hat. He looks like a chef. And this is the thing, like, I'm assuming he must have a job then. So I feel like that's them kind of painting them as like actual adults, question mark, as opposed to these are the two kids, here are the parents kind of thing.
True.
So Fondue storms out as he plans to go trash Sniz's room to get revenge, and he walks into basically the worst mess of a room Although as I'm looking around my office, I can't really blame him. Um, and he decides to then escalate it, which apparently in his mind means it's time to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah, it escalated very fast.
Yeah.
Well, he originally went from like, okay, so I need something to prevent him from coming into my room, right? That was the initial thought. But he escalates it to, I want to buy an attack dog that will chew the legs off of trespassers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
And it's actually kind of, I'm noticing a recurring theme in this show in general. As someone who spent the last year watching legitimately all of Power Rangers, it's not that easy on a kid's show to talk about killing somebody and death and basically murder. But for some reason on this show, they get away with it multiple times throughout the course of the episode.
I feel like this was a show that was probably on later. I don't remember that
I think it was like a 6 o'clock show.
Really? Was it?
Yeah.
I'm
pretty
I
sure.
remember watching it after school, the reruns of it after school.
Really? I don't remember the time frame just based on the content. I'm like this must have been a later show. But like cuz I can imagine like Cartoon Network playing this on like the Adult Swim. Like later on it's like all like fucked up, weird concepts, like things that are not like necessarily always adult, but like can be abstract ideas or adult, so they just throw it on like later at night because of that.
I thought I remember the marinade. What was the name of that popsicle stick thing?
Stick Stickly.
Oh,
Stick
God.
Stickly. Thank you. Yeah, Nick in the Afternoon. Stick Stickly. That's right. I remember. I could have sworn watching it then. Like, I thought they played it around then.
I feel like
afternoon.
that might be true, but I think the original, like, when it was originally airing, was, like, in the slot right before Snick.
I don't know.
Maybe that's
Like,
it.
I feel like it was, like, a once-a-week show. I don't know. It's hard to remember back then. But one of the things that I was saying before with the whole Power Rangers and, like, mentioning killing people, in all of Power Rangers, no one's ever killed. They're destroyed. I'm going to destroy you. Stuff like that. Like you couldn't get away with that on a kids show talking about murder and actually like killing people. So it was like really jarring to me to see him talk about like having someone's leg chewed off and like later with the scorpion like it's going to kill you. One sting and it'll kill you. So
Yeah.
he ends up going to an exotic pet shop, Darwin's Den, and he buys a Madagascar scorpion.
So this is deep cut number 2 I want to reference. Darwin, like Charles Darwin, Darwin's Den. The store owner says that they only carry rare and illegal animals, and then immediately shows him a Madagascar. He's like, "Oh, I want to buy a dog that'll chew the legs off of somebody," and he's like, "Well, how about this scorpion that'll kill somebody in one sting?" Darwin, being Charles Darwin, like you buy a scorpion that's gonna kill you in one sting, and you're not a bright guy. That's a Darwin Award right there. So that's I feel like that's why they named it Darwin's Den, is because like he is definitely his name's fucking Fondue. Like come on, he is not smart enough to have a deadly animal, period, and he's buying something from Darwin's Den, like this is going to be your death. Here you go. Deep cut. I know it's a deep cut, but I feel like the writing was there. I feel like that's their purpose.
Do you really think that was on purpose, or do you think it might be totally coincidental that they just picked Darwin? Because I don't think they were that clever or that funny, based on the rest of the episode.
I really hope that they were trying to be clever about it. Like, because the thing is, he sold rare and illegal animals, and the first thing he pulls up is a deadly animal. I feel like, I don't know. That's the whole thing. And granted, he was asking for a vicious animal, but like, he pulls up not just a vicious animal. He pulls up an animal that is extremely deadly. So I feel like they were with Darwin's Den. I feel like they were trying to be like, here's your Darwin Award. Like, you're gonna buy this animal and end up killing yourself. I told you they were deep cuts, Tom. They're deep cuts.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, put your tinfoil hat on and believe me.
All right, so he ends up going home with this scorpion, and he basically shows it to Sniz and introduces it to him that it's his room guardian. And Sniz is completely not intimidated by this thing at all. It ends up, I think he like slaps Fondue on the ass, which causes him to drop the tank that the scorpion's in, and it breaks and it gets out.
There you go. There's your Darwin Award.
Yeah. So they freak out, and then they run downstairs to their housemates, Snoopa and Bianca, and explain that there's a scorpion that one sting and it'll kill you. That's what the man said. So Sniz and Fondue decide to tape up their feet, which it's weird, like weird choice. Okay, sure. I'd probably just leave altogether, to be honest.
Yeah, burn the house down. It's done. The house is done.
Although looking at Snoopa and Bianca, I could see why you thought that was their parents. They definitely look older.
And they seem like they're bigger, like at least Sniz looks like he's a child size almost, you know?
Yeah, I guess. But Fondue's like fully grown. He's like,
yeah, well, maybe Fondue. Maybe they're in a polyamorous relationship. Fondue, Bianca, and Poopa, the three of them together, and Sniz is their child.
Checks out.
Nope. I mean, sure, but still weird.
Well, don't shame people, Keith.
Not shaming them. They're just, I don't know. They're all, no, continue.
Alright, so while they're all standing arguing in the kitchen, the scorpion goes scurrying across the floor, so they all decide to arm up with weapons and start searching all around the house for it. They split up into two groups and attempt to find the scorpion. Yeah, this is just a bad cartoon.
It is. So like basically what ends
awful.
up like they're all looking for the scorpion, and then eventually like the scorpion is on Fondue's back.
Yes.
And
well, I think that's like jumping ahead, right? They end up looking under the couch at one point, and this was actually the one clever thing in the entire episode, is they think they found it under the couch, and they scoot it out with a broom, and of course Fondue's right there ready to get it with a hammer, and it ends up being his missing Luke Skyrunner figure.
yeah, Luke Skyrunner. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Of course.
Just you know, like he's really good friends with Luke Pocard.
Yeah. He ordered those action figures from Wish.
Yeah.
Basically.
And Frito Baggins.
Frito Baggins. That's going to be my next D&D character.
God, I want to play play D&D again.
Yeah,
Me
right?
too.
Yeah, so after he smashes the figure, the scorpion ends up to be on his back. Sniz scoops it up with a tennis racket, and it lands outside in a random girl's sandbox. That's apparently just outside their house. Kind of weird.
I was like question Little Sister that nobody's referenced so far. It's like literally outside their window, on their.
Yeah.
It's got to be on their property. Why would they have a little girl playing on their property that wasn't related to them? Whose kid is that?
That's their pet.
Otherwise, it's
God.
otherwise maybe it's just a patch of sand that some neighborhood kid is playing in.
No. That's their pet cat, and that was a sandbox. I solved it.
Okay, checks out.
Yeah, so she ends up smashing it with her shovel, and then at the end of the episode of Sniz and Fondue, thankfully, Fondue has decided to monetize access to his bed, which is kind of weird. So
Sounds like a prostitute.
Sniz, yeah, exactly. Sniz keeps paying to jump on it, and he has like,
Sounds like a prostitute.
yeah. So we're thankfully away from Sniz and Fondue. At the end of this episode, I'll ask everybody here to rank which episode or which part of this show we think is best, and I'm pretty sure everybody's going to end up putting Sniz and Fondue dead last, because goddamn.
Yeah.
Thank God
So-
this wasn't setting the bar for the rest of the episode. Otherwise,
I know,
probably
it's all up from here.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I think they did that on purpose. I think they knew. They knew they were leading
Yeah,
off
you
with
gotta
a bad
put your-
foot.
Well,
Here's
usually
the
you want
garbage.
to put your best foot forward.
Well, yeah, but back then, if you committed to watching a show, you generally did. Like, I don't know, back in the mid 90s, I didn't channel flip a lot. That's back when, like, some people still had TVs that had knobs on them to change the channel. So it was like, oh, there's a cartoon on. Let's see this through. Let's watch the whole episode kind of thing. And I feel like they were just like, yeah, the first one's a stinker, but, like, the other ones, by the end of it, you might come back next time.
I don't know. I'm surprised as a kid I made it through that first part of Sniz and Fondue in the first place.
Yeah.
I must have been playing with action figures or something, and I was distracted.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw the show, it definitely was not a Sniz and Fondue short. I think the first short I ever saw from a KaBlam episode, excuse me, a KaBlam episode would be like Prometheus and Bob, and you guys know how much I love working with clay and claymation
Yeah.
and things like that. So I just fell in love with it as a child. But we'll get to Prometheus and Bob. However, if Sniz and Fondue was the first cartoon I watched, I would have been like, yeah, I need to find something better on. It was brutal.
So I just realized that Tom needs to finish his doctorate, if only so he has time to get back to working with clay so he can make a claymation and intro for this show.
God.
Oh, that would be so fucking cool.
I know.
Oh,
And-
I gotta do that.
And just have it be the three of us. That's our, have our claymations. So we're back in the interim comic book pages with Henry and June, and we have a little, I guess, snarky bit with I'm forgetting his name, Henry, saying that June's always trying to one up the comic or the cartoon that they just watched by saying that there's a spider behind him. And there actually is. He ends up getting trapped in a web. And then they decide to go towards the next cartoon, which isn't a cartoon.
I would like to point out real quick that the spider didn't just hit him with a web, but the spider actually shit the web at him.
Pooped it.
Yeah.
Pooped the web out
Well,
of it.
that's how
Yes.
spiders web things. I mean, if you watch the extended director's cut of the Spider-Man movies, they show what really happens, where Peter Parker, like, straight up just drops
Toby.
drawers. He just drops drawers, and he just, yeah. And it
I
was
just was I was picturing Tobey Maguire dropping his shorts, squatting down for a second.
yeah, no, it's really weird because, like, when people, like, if you imagine that and then imagine the people after they get saved by the webs when they're just really dumbfounded, it's like, oh, thanks, Spider-Man.
Ah, best superhero ever. The one that shits on people to save them.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we immediately have a pretty big upswing in the quality of segment here with Action League now. This was probably my favorite as a kid. It's probably my second favorite looking back on it as an adult, but
Action League is pretty fucking good. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
yeah, it's probably the most memorable part of the show, in my opinion.
It's definitely what spurred the idea for what was that movie that came out probably around 2000, like Team America or something.
Yeah, Team
Oh,
America
yeah.
World Police.
Right?
Yeah.
Like so Action League is definitely the idea that created the idea for, it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, we just found the origin, and the origin is actually better than the thing that happened 5 to 10 years later because you don't see the strings in this one.
Well, you see the strings in some scenes.
Shut
I
up.
noticed them.
Shut
I was
up.
like, ah.
Shut up. You don't see it. It's better.
All right, so the Action League is made up of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 members, right? Kind of 5.
Let's see.
Yeah. No.
Kind of 5 if we're counting the Chief.
What about Melting Man?
You got Meltman.
All right, so there's the Flesh,
Yep.
Who is super strong and super naked.
Thunder Girl,
She flies like thunder.
Stinky Diver,
A former Navy commando with an attitude as bad as his odor.
and Meltman.
With the power to melt.
Yep.
I thought
so
there was someone else.
I always thought there were more, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I always forget about the Chief since he's literally just there, usually at the beginning, to yell something at them, and then,
And then-
Yeah,
And
I
then
always
get
thought
run
the
over
Chief
by a
was...
car?
Yeah.
yeah,
I thought the Chief was... Well, obviously the Chief is their boss, but I always figured, okay, he's the boss, he gives them the order. They're the team that works underneath him, and I always thought there was more to that team besides 4 people. Oh, well.
So one thing I definitely wanted to look into, and I researched it before this episode, is I wanted to know what action figures they used for these, characters. So I looked into it, and the Flesh is a Conan the Barbarian figure with blonde hair.
I was guessing He-Man.
And
I was going to guess He-Man, too.
I knew it wasn't He-Man just because it has way more articulation than any of the He-Man figures
And the hair is a little
Encounter.
longer, right?
Yeah, the hair just didn't match up. Thunder Girl is a heavily modified She-Ra body with a Super Cindy doll head. Which I'm not familiar enough with either of those toy lines, so.
Yeah.
But then the two really interesting ones, because I'm pretty sure I had a Stinky Diver, except that's only because he's an altered 1994 G.I. Joe shipwreck.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know, I think the kid across the street from me was a year older than me growing up. For some reason, I was playing at his house once, and I'm pretty sure that was the first time I saw Stinky Diver.
And he just kept on talking about his Stinky Diver.
Yep.
And then, of course, we have Meltman, who is a modified and melted G.I. Joe Cobra Commander.
Oh, that's what he
Which,
is.
which
Wow.
honestly, like, I mean, I remember seeing this in Multitude. They must have had many of each of those action figures, given like the amount of
Mm-hmm.
destruction that they do to these things. Like, they must have
Yeah.
gone through a lot, especially Meltman, because like once the face, I mean, you can melt a face once. I mean, he starts with a melted face, so they got to pre-melt it, and then you got to melt it during the episode at some point, and then sometimes it gets melted again, and like then he's shot. That's like the Kenny of South Park. Like Meltman is the Kenny of Action League
Action
now,
League.
Yeah.
right?
So much Cobra Commander death.
Right?
And then, of
So
course, we
much.
have the mayor and the chief, who are just modified Play School dollhouse figures. They basically swap some parts around.
Yes. My brother had so the mayor's body and I wait, no, it's the chief's body and the mayor's head I think go together because my brother had an action figure, one of those Playhouse. It came with like it was this house that came with like a Jeep, and you could push a button, and the garage doors would open, and you could put the Jeep in, and it came with a guy that looked just like the mayor. The head did, but the body was from a different character.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyhow,
All
sorry.
right, so this particular episode, Road to Ruin, starts out with the Action League washing the chief's new car, which I wasn't able to figure out what this was. It's definitely some sort of modification they did for the show. It's probably like a play school van that's been modified onto like an RC uh,
Mm,
body
Yeah,
of
I
some
feel like they were
sort.
trying
yeah,
to
that
make
makes
it like
sense.
a remote controlled car, but try to make it like the A Team, but like not fully mimic the A Team
Not get
van.
sued.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's a van. We're not gonna make it anywhere similar other than it's a van.
Hmm.
Yeah, so the team is busy washing the Chiefs' new car, and he gets mad because they missed a spot. The Flesh, of course, blasts him into the road with a fire hose, or I guess just a regular hose. Um, and he is run over by a wild driver that is littering, who happens to be the league's arch nemesis, the mayor. So that's one play school figure down because that leg is definitely broken.
Hmm.
Uh,
Which is definitely a deviation of most like this is the Action League. They're like superheroes. Usually, you have some sort of connection to like the mayor or the chief of police. Like you look at Batman and like Chief Gordon. Like it's like you have some sort of connection. Instead, with this, the mayor is the fucking bad guy. So
mm,
I thought that was interesting. Like
it's more
the
like real life.
well, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's probably fucking true.
Or the Lego Movie.
Oh,
Oh, spoilers. Actually, I don't know.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry.
I've never seen the Lego movie. I don't know if
Oh,
that actually is a spoiler.
yeah, I don't know.
I probably will never see the Lego
maybe.
movie.
We will see. Come back next week.
Nope, not watching it. All right, so
I'd
they
like to.
they 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 cue the intro for the Action League, which is probably one of the best parts, and Keith did a great job of going over it with
Yes.
us earlier. So the mayor, for some reason that I can't figure out, is just littering like crazy. He's just evil, and that brings us to yet another cartoon where littering is like, well, not littering specifically, but just being environmentally evil is one of the aspects of the show. Having watched Widget the World Watcher, which surprisingly to me is about being, protective of the Earth's creatures and all this other stuff in the environment. And the Dead Lost episode, the first thing we ever filmed together, or filmed, I guess filmed.
Yeah, we
Because
did film.
we did have video back then.
Yeah.
We watched the Captain Planet and the Planeteers. So this is like our third thing that is, environmentally conscious.
Wait a minute.
No.
We watched Captain Planet and the Planeteers?
No, we didn't watch Captain Planet. We watched Captain N. We didn't do Clockwork.
I know.
We referenced Captain Planet, especially.
Oh, yeah, we reference it a lot.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because you know what? It was, I think there was references of, like, littering or something in, like, Sonic the Adventure.
Yeah.
And then we hit Widget, the World Watcher, and we're like, oh, there's littering there, and now it's KaBlam. Yeah, we have not. I think Captain Planet's going to be a special. That's going to be a special episode.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think what happened is I watched it in preparation for doing an episode.
Oh God.
And then did we just not do it? We did something else?
We must have.
My memory is getting worse by the day.
Did you watch it and then do Boss Baby instead?
No, this would have been like the first thing I ever suggested.
Well, the first thing we ever watched was the Mario Brothers show.
Yeah, the first thing. So we did Mario Super Show, Adventures of Sonic, Captain N, What's New Scooby Doo, which is Lost to the Ether, Boss Baby, Widget the World Watcher, Bleach, and now today's KaBlam.
Listening to that list of the shows we've done so far, you would think there's something wrong with us.
We're all throwing up. Like, honestly, Bleach was like the first thing that I even cared to actually want to rewatch. Because I feel like we're all just like, oh, we're gonna be shit at this, so let's watch shit shows.
Well, that's been my plan for myself, is like there's so many shows that I really, really want to do a good job on, and I'm surprised because I could have swore we did Captain Planet, but I'm happy we didn't because, I would like to actually... Oh, I think the issue was I couldn't find a quality video of the first episode.
Oh. So,
like, it was just, like, the one that's on YouTube is just horrible.
Which I know that we're, like... Because unfortunately, just based on the concept of what we're doing, and especially a lot of shows have a lot of context that comes up later on, like, it's a lot easier probably for listeners to hear the first episode, and we're picking the first episode a lot. We don't always need to do that. Like, I feel like if we're watching something nostalgic, we don't have to pick the first episode.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so many, like, origin stories that happen that, like, for instance, with Widget, there's so much stuff they have to go through before you get to any interesting action in that show.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a regular episode of Widget has to be a lot more interesting than the first episode. And the same thing with a lot of the other shows.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say for next week, because I'm picking next week, I believe, I already watched the episode, or the first episode of a show that I was thinking of picking, and I was like, man, this first episode is just all exposition. It's interesting, but I'm like, it's not a good episode for this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I feel like for a lot of anime specifically,
yes,
it would be like that. Like the first episode, like for instance, like think about Spider-Man. Like, do you want to hear someone talk about the origin of Spider-Man?
No.
It's been rehashed. Everybody knows it.
You want to hear the story of a kid that gets picked on at the end of the episode? He gets bit by a spider? Thanks. Like,
yeah, like there's so much about like a show that Like, the first episode is usually just, like, them teeing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really get going until you get all the pieces in place, and then you finally could have an entertaining show.
Well, here's the issue with, like, Widget the World Watcher was I felt like the first episode was almost necessary if you wanted to know what the hell was going on in this show. So, because it was a bit of a stretch.
It was for me, just because I'd never heard of it in the stuff.
Yeah.
Not being just an NES and Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
But back on the topic of Road to Ruin here, we have the Action League in pursuit of the mayor, who is littering all over the city. Stinky Diver.
Was he driving?
Is the one. Yeah, he's driving. That's why I said.
All right, he's Stinky Driver then. You were right.
Yeah, he's
you got it.
Currently Stinky Driver. A piece of litter gets on the windshield, and they go down a back alley sidewalk and crash into everything.
They go down like another route for like 5 fucking minutes. Like
without anybody taking the piece of litter off. And then when they finally get the piece of litter off, that's when they decide to go careening off of a cliff.
Yeah.
It's just like, cool, we can see. Let's bang a hard right and just die.
Which, like, Thunder Girl's just like, oh shit, I can fly. Peace out, homies.
Yeah, this is my stop. Bye.
Bunch of assholes.
Yeah, so she goes flying off while everybody else is still falling to their doom, presumably. And she goes flying after the mayor, who is, I don't even know how you litter this hard. Like, he's got stuff flying out of both windows of the car while he's driving with 2 hands on the wheel. Like, that's some extracurricular littering right there.
Professional grade littering.
It's a lot of fast food bags, man.
Yeah. And then we get the, I guess, mid-episode narrator trying to build up suspense with Thunder Girl about to become roadkill because there's oncoming traffic. Everybody else in the remote control car are still careening off the side of that cliff, and they basically build it up to go to what we probably would have as a commercial break. Hey listeners, Cory here, real quick to see if you can help us out and grow the podcast by leaving a 5-star rating on iTunes. Also, if you enjoy the show, wouldn't it be great to share it with friends and family? Just a suggestion. I'm like watching along and it's like showing something about like life with Loopy, and I'm just like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh. Life with Loopy.
Yeah.
You know what? We said earlier that this episode just went up from Sniz and Fondue. Oh, how did none of us not call him Jizz and Fondue?
Oh no, you don't want to jizz in the fondue. Well,
I know you don't want.
Cory's gonna cut this out anyway. I'm gonna go pee.
All right. Keith. This is Keith's 3rd bathroom break.
I told you, he has the bladder of a 5-year-old girl. His daughter goes to the bathroom less than he does, for crying out loud.
What the hell?
I just think about, like, because of this stupid pandemic, we haven't hung out in person that much. I'm just thinking about the times I used to hang out with him and we'd be having a few drinks. Every 5 minutes he'd be getting up to go take a leak. I just remember thinking to myself, I get up once the whole night. He gets up about 20 times. Jeez. Oh.
Oh, man.
Oh. But yeah, that Sniz and Fondue show was just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I had to watch this episode twice, because the first time, and I told Keith I watched it twice, but the first time after like getting halfway through Sniz and Fondue, I just sort of started working on my analysis work in the background, and I just stopped watching. I had it pulled up on my big TV, and I just stopped paying attention. And I was like, "Ah, shit!" The episode ended up ending, and I'm like, "Ah, crap! Now I have to go back and rewatch this hunk of shit."
Yeah, so I ended up. I was cooking dinner when I decided to, say this was the episode, so I immediately watched it on my phone. And I got like halfway through Sniz and Fondue, and I was just like, fuck, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I legitimately was like thinking when the first time watching, I'm like, oh my god, what are we gonna talk about? Just the show's awful. There's nothing funny. There's nothing to talk about. But yeah, luckily, as soon as Action League Now came on, it's like, all right, it's improving, getting much better. But I know we'll get to Loopy, but man, I remember even as a child, I couldn't stand that one either.
It's a roller coaster.
It is. That's what it is. Yeah.
They interspersed shit with not shit in order to make a roller coaster of a show. Because the thing is, like, man, I hate to say it, but like, if you put Action League and you put Prometheus and Bob together and made that a 30-minute episode, you'd be like, what is this shit? So they put in Sniz and Fondue and Life with Loopy to like make the other shit seem better.
It's the filler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back from commercial break as Keith takes his 5th bathroom break of the night. And Thunder Girl ends up becoming Roadkill, bouncing off the windshield of a van. And for some reason, that gave enough time for the guys in the remote control car to come crashing down on top of her.
Yeah, the only, like, honestly, and I thought about this at length, the only way that makes sense is that the car itself, when it got covered with the garbage and they, like, detoured, if they just went up a massive cliff, right? And then when they started falling, Thunder Girl was like, oh shit, I'm going to go find the other car, and found it, like, 2,000 feet below them. In like 3 seconds, and then was like, oh, I found you, and then got hit by an oncoming car, and then the car with her friends fell on it. That's the only possible explanation. Otherwise, you're in some sort of what's that painting with the stairways that go in all different directions?
Oh, the MC Escher painting.
Yes.
What? I can't remember the name, but yeah.
Nope,
yeah,
that was close enough. Everybody's going to know what you're saying there. It's like a Mobius strip of stairways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she does fly like thunder, so all that checks out.
It's true. I mean, when you fly like thunder, you fly like thunder. I don't know. That's loudly. You fly. She didn't fly loudly the whole time. That's bullshit. Calling shenanigans.
That's
right,
more shenanigans than the Scooby-Doo episode.
which will not be named.
Yeah.
House of Stairs. That's
up...
the name of the painting. Sorry.
There you go.
Huh.
Okay, I'll stop interrupting.
So they end up playing a game of chicken with the mayor once they catch up to him. Everybody's now back in the chief's remote control car.
Which, like, they have a remote control car, and the mayor has like a fucking
actual car,
like a Lincoln Continental, like an actual.
That got a legitimate laugh from me. Like when you saw when they were playing chicken towards the end, I legitimately laughed at that, seeing an action figure driving a big SUV going straight at this little RC race car thing. That made me laugh.
Well, it definitely isn't an SUV.
Oh yeah, it wasn't an SUV. It was a compact car. Yeah,
it's like a town car. It's a full size.
What am I thinking of? Why am I I thought it was like a black SUV.
It is a no. It's not. It's not an SUV.
I know it's brown. It's a brown.
It is specifically not a sports utility vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a small car. It's definitely like a it's almost like a single person limo car.
Hi
like
guys, we don't know cars. This is us not knowing cars.
Hello everyone.
Hey.
I went to automotive school and
Keith, you don't tell them this.
And
he did not pass.
And no, I graduated from that. Thank you, Barron Institute of Technology in Windsor, Connecticut, for passing me in automotive school. And I did not recognize what kind of car that was. Although, to be honest, they never gave me any tests of flashcards of what kind of car is this. It was more so.
That'd be a weird thing to have It's like, this is all we want to know is what cars look like.
It was more so like, hey, do you know how to change a tire? Do you know how to swap out a transmission?
Keith, I'm totally getting you index cards with names of cars on them for Christmas.
All right.
Whatever, Tom. That's not gonna. I'm still not gonna be a mechanic. So, like, what are you trying to do here? I'm not
improve the quality of our podcast.
With my car knowledge, the next episode, I'm just gonna list off 30 different types of cars and just be like, credit to Tom, my fucking savior who gave me all these fucking flashcards. This great man that taught me a wealth of car knowledge that I just could not learn in school myself.
Exactly.
Dr.
You're
Tom.
welcome.
Thanks, Dr. Tom. God damn it.
I don't know how Tom always seems to turn it around on Keith. Like, Tom was definitely the one that fucked up what car it was.
This is
so hard, calling it an SUV, and yet Keith's the one that just got shit on.
Yeah. No, this is the relationship. This is the relationship that me and Tom have. Is that Tom?
I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck is happening?
It only took 20 years for you to point that out to him.
Tom loves deflecting. Tom's like Mirror Man, right? He loves deflecting. And I'm like the guy that can absorb the electrical current that he's shooting my way.
You take everything that Tom is shooting at you?
Oh, God.
You take it, Keith. You take what I could give you.
Nope, that's way too sexual. God damn it. God damn it. It's more like with my limited superhero ability, where like when somebody gets hit with their own power and they absorb it.
In the face?
Well, I mean, if you get hit with your own power in the face, Tom, what do you do with it?
I wouldn't know. I'm always hitting you in the face with my power.
God damn it.
I'm dying.
It's not a good episode of Cory's Not Dying. This episode is never going to get sponsors for the fact that this time it's not my fault. Tom has driven too many parallels of people getting jizzed in the face.
Hey, Trojan might sponsor us.
Oh. Trojan or maybe
protects you from getting jizzed in the face.
There you go.
No, maybe that TV show Bad Boys on Amazon, they're pretty sexual about things, and it's about superheroes. Maybe they want to run an ad about getting.
You mean The
I'm
Boys?
so glad I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
The Boys.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I was like, wait,
sorry.
Bad Boys?
Yeah, it's not.
Isn't
Bad
that what
Boys.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember anyone getting jizzed in the face in any of those movies.
Okay.
What the fuck? Did he watch the director's cut?
Holy shit. Oh my god. This episode's toast.
My face hurts.
No, it's just not gonna. I mean, you know, Martin Lawrence is the catcher. Will Smith is definitely.
Whoa!
No!
Will Smith is. Will Smith has a better career. He's taller. Just saying.
You know, that is some stereotyping right there. Short people could be tops.
Okay, go ahead. No, say it. Go ahead, tell me. Tell me Will Smith's a catcher. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
I don't want Will Smith to ever be angry with me, so I'm keeping my mouth shut.
There you go.
But I will defend Martin Lawrence against you saying he's getting jizzed in the face during a movie that I've seen, and I don't recall that happening.
So, after that commercial break,
big explicit content warning on this episode.
No, we're gonna go. After that commercial break.
Yeah, we saved the other stuff for the Patreon.
That's for the Patreon.
The best stuff, the stuff that'll actually get people to listen.
Guys, you know what's in the Patreon? Either you know or you don't, and it's disgusting. But you'll love it. So pay for it, and then immediately quit and go curl up in a corner and pray for Will Smith. That kid from Philadelphia,
born and raised.
Oh God.
Cory, let's continue this episode in some sort of semblance of reason.
So, the Action League and the mayor square off in Chicken. The mayor just runs them over because, once again, they are a small RC car versus an actual car. So the mayor thinks he has the last laugh, and unfortunately for him, he didn't realize he was going right towards the cliff. And he goes tumbling to his doom. I'm not sure what footage they used of this car crash, but it definitely must have been something out of a movie back then.
Yeah. And, by the way, the rest of the people in the toy car who got seriously fucking run over, they all, just walk up to the edge of the cliff. They're like, wow, sucks for that guy. And they're fine. They literally got run over by an actual car, and they're...
If you've seen any of the other episodes of KaBlam, you'll know that the mayor survived. Yeah, and he was perfectly fine, too.
Right.
Toys are indestructible even when they're not indestructible, apparently.
I just don't remember that. The mayor was definitely in a car that exploded that was on fire. Although he was, narrating part of the car being on fire and his pain. But I was assuming that he was dying. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's
as long as you narrate out loud what's happening to you as you burn and fire in a car accident, you don't actually get hurt.
So when I if I get into a life-threatening situation, if I go, oh my God, I almost died. As long as I scream that, I'm not dead.
Well, it's like this. Oh my God, a mugger is about to shoot me unless I give him my wallet. I guess I will give him my wallet and not die. Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
I thought the tactic was oh, this is my name. I have a wife. I have kids. I have children.
No one gives a shit about kids anymore, Keith.
It's true. So much child death.
Yeah, so after the episode, we're back with Henry and June, and Henry decides to explain what Chuckamation is, which, when he first started talking about it, I thought like, oh, cool. Is this like an actual term that they use
Yeah.
for the stop motion kind of filming they did for Action League now?
I
And
was
no,
excited.
it's yeah. Like I was legitimately like, oh, cool. Is that what it's called? I want to
Yeah.
I want to learn. But
Mm-hmm.
Chuckimation is apparently just the act of having a good strong arm and throwing an action figure into a passing car.
No, so I feel like that was the like artists, like the people that are doing the stop motion, that was their way of being like, yeah, this chuckamation is what we call getting frustrated with shit and just breaking it. Like when they're doing stop motion and like everything's going wrong, they just fucking destroy shit as like a stress relief. Like that's chuckamation, and I feel like that was like their inside joke of like, oh, we filmed this with chuckamation because they probably broke way more characters than they meant to.
Mm.
So deep cut number 3, chuckamation.
All right, which will then lead us to Life with Loopy.
Hey,
Oh,
don't
Cory,
make me the fucking Travis of this shit. You gotta
may,
yes and me.
may
Fucking
I
sick.
just point out, before they go to Life with Loopy, they use the line, put your Heiner in the recliner. Now, the
Yeah.
reason this is important is almost, like 25 years ago when I was watching this show at my grandmother's house, like one Saturday or Sunday during the summer, my Aunt Mary was watching it with me, and for whatever reason, put your Heiner in the recliner stuck with her. And to this day, she will still say that every once in a while. And in another episode, so they said, put your Heiner in the recliner. Another episode was, put your derriere in the cherriere. That's another one she
I
heard,
remember
and
that
she
one. I
still
remember
says
that.
that. Yeah.
Does
So
she
that
know what it's from?
she'll
Or
if I
she
asked
just
her,
says it?
she would probably say it was from a cartoon from years ago. She wouldn't remember exactly what it was, but
Huh.
she still, like, I heard her say it probably like a year ago, and I started cracking up because she used to say it all the time for like the first 10 years after she saw it. But then it was like every few months she might say it. But yeah, it it just cracked me up hearing it again.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's pretty crazy.
It's like
I
people
bet she
calling.
probably thinks she always said that.
Probably at this point, yeah. If I was to
Yeah.
ask her now, she probably would think that. Yeah.
It's like people calling pants dungarees.
What?
You
What?
never you never heard somebody call a pair of pants dungarees?
That's an Australian thing.
Dungaroos?
Australians call pants dungarees.
Yeah, well, old Australians. Do you think our age Australians call them that?
And
Or
backpacks are,
slacks?
what are they, Johnny sacks or gunny sacks? What are they called? What do they call them over there?
I mean, gunny slacks.
I don't know.
I've
We had a
never.
couple
I don't know.
Australians come to middle school once to talk about Australia in our geography class. It was like some exchange students. They were talking about Australia, and then they made us. They had like bread and Vegemite, so we all got like these
Oh,
little. Each one of us got a quarter of a Vegemite sandwich.
yeah, they're not very good, are they?
It's
Did any
so
of them?
so salty.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like super pistachio saltiness. It's like pistachio and saltiness. That's what I remember. But I love pistachios, but it
it's
was
too
rough.
salty. You
Yeah.
need you need like something else to like cut that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you ever compare knives with them?
That would have been awesome.
Oh,
I really if an Australian, you know what? Now that I think about it, I know some Australians. Next time I see them, I will have to pull a knife on them and see how they
Oh my
you
respond.
know
god.
you know that they're gonna be like, oh god, Tom, I've known you for so long. I didn't think you were that type of asshole. The whole reason
No.
why I've known you this long and have kept in contact with you is because you didn't do the Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
Instead, Tom, go deep cut. Go and get like pho or pho as they call it with them, right? It's a soup, And then when they're eating, you go
Australian pho.
No. You get pho with them. You get a soup, and when they're like, oh, this soup is pretty good, and you go, you think that's a spoon? This is a spoon, and you pull out a fucking ladle. You go deep cut. This is the episode of Deep Cuts.
Oh, I want to do that. I want to reenact that in Claymation with you.
Because the thing is, the Australian is assuming you're going to do you think that's a knife? This is a knife. But instead, you do the spoon. You think that's a spoon? This is a spoon. And you pull out a bigger spoon, and it's actually a goddamn ladle.
What happens if they've never seen any Paul Hogan movies? By the way, Paul Hogan is the man who plays Crocodile Dundee.
Then you just stop being friends with them.
Yeah, good point. If they don't, yeah.
Is there really
that's right.
Like,
you don't want to be friends with someone who doesn't know who Crocodile Dundee is.
Right? I'm pretty sure I've never even seen a full movie from him, and I know that reference. So if they do not get that, if they don't get that reference, and they are Australian, come the fuck on. Like,
yeah.
Seriously. I'm trying to think of an analogy, but I'm like, that's like being Crocodile Dundee and not having a fucking knife. Like, no, there's. That's.
Hey, Keith, you know what? I think Cory should talk about life with Loopy.
Oh, probably. Oh shit! Are we reviewing a cartoon? Oh man! God damn it!
Yeah, so everything has to have, life's a roller coaster with this show. We're on the downswing, so of course we have Life with Loopy, which I'm going to be honest with you, I had forgotten about, but the second I actually saw the characters' faces, I remembered this pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same here.
And probably not for good reasons, because I did not really enjoy this. This is Hi-Fi Frankenstein. So this segment is about Larry Cooper, a 12-year-old who has a sister that is 7 years old named Lucretia. I think that's how you say her name. But, of course, she's called Loopy. And he is rocking out to his favorite horrible band called Bug Steak. So he has to crank the volume up to the maximum. And, just like a little sister would, she wants him to play with her. But he's too busy dancing to a song called From Bug Steak, and he calls her a goober. So she goes to complain to the parents, and they tell her to specifically make a new friend. So then she creates a robot.
Girl, as a very slight background, this girl wanted to play with him cannibal cheerleaders. I just want to throw that out there. So, she is, as a 7-year-old girl, understands the concept of not only cheerleaders, but understands the concept of cannibals.
Cannibalism.
And has a tribal mask and is, ready to eat people. So, I wouldn't fucking play with her either. And her parents are like, make your own friends, because guess what? Making your own friends prevents you from fucking eating all the other ones that you've apparently fucking eaten. At this point,
if I had a dime for every time I heard that one.
You've run out of friends, make your fucking own. Okay. So, continue. This is morbid.
So she creates a robot-like companion named Frank. Mostly made out of parts from her father's old stereo system. And everything seems fine. Frank seems kind of subservient to humans in the sense of he's just oh, you're so smart, you're so great.
Yeah.
Sucking up to the parents.
And then he gets to the he starts talking to Larry, actually. He's talking to Larry, and he's he mentions enslaving humans, and Larry's like,
yeah,
what the fuck? And then,
I really wanted him to say, Larry, is this your homework? Keith,
What
you
was
get
that
the
from?
reference, right?
Yes, I do.
Cory isn't going to get the reference because he still hasn't seen The Big Lebowski.
Is this your fucking homework, Larry?
You know, from where I'm sitting, I could see the DVD of The Big Lebowski.
God damn it,
Just
Cory.
watch it. Just watch it.
You know he's gonna watch it and not pay attention. It's just not even like he needs to
true.
watch it with
That's
us,
probably true.
and so that way we can literally sit on either side of him.
So you can fucking
pry his eyes open.
Clockwork Orange my eyes open,
Yeah.
make me watch this movie.
Absolutely, that's what's gotta happen.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, because, we're going to make you watch, we'll make you watch the movie, and then we'll make you watch the cable version where they have to edit all the swearing out so you can listen to the famous line, "Do you see what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps?"
Cory doesn't get that one either.
He doesn't get that one because it's great.
I'm assuming there's an ass in there somewhere.
Yeah, do you see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass?
Yep.
Ooh.
So...
Yes, so... I'm going to be honest, this life with Loopy is so bad to the point where I just want to kind of skip it.
I got this.
Yeah.
No, I got
Yeah,
this. Let me do
I
a quick run through. I'll do a quick one, right? Mm-hmm. It's a quickie, if you will. Loopy and Larry find Frankenstein, her robot, in the basement, talking to all the other appliances, the minor appliances in the house, like the toaster oven, the toaster, the hand mixer, whatever. They're in the basement, and he's besides like the fridge and the dishwasher and shit.
Yeah.
Like all the handheld ones.
Small appliances.
He's basically giving like a Hitler speech to them. He's like rallying. He's rallying them against humans. And
He's actually right. That's a really good way to describe it.
He is. He's totally doing that. And like Loopy and Larry are hiding in the basement and seeing this. Larry grabs all of the warranties for those appliances and goes, "I'm going to return all you fuckers to the store." Like, that's it. Like, if you don't snap, hey, ship shape, get up here. Like, I got 30-day warranties on all of yous. And Frankenstein, monster guy, monster robot, is like, all of those are expired. But as soon as he says that, Loopy comes in with the cassette tape of Bug Steak. And pops it in his mouth because he was made from a record player, or not a record player.
Cassette player, Keith. He said the word cassette.
But like it wasn't just a cassette player, it was like a sound system. But his mouth was the cassette player portion, so she pops it in there, and apparently the music's so bad it fucking kills him. Because let's be honest, Bug Steak, it was shit.
It was awful.
It was awful.
Yeah. Do you ever watch something so bad that you watch it and you literally can't comprehend what's happening?
Yes, that's what that feels like.
All that you just explained to me is new information.
Well, because I literally had to like take notes to remember.
He had to study it.
Like I had to literally write it down in sequential order because it was such a mishmash of things. Because immediately after she kills him by putting the cassette in his mouth, which is literally made to accept cassette tapes, and he dies from it, they all stand there with the remaining appliances that were part of the uprising, and they dance. And that's the end of that episode.
I just got my first laugh from that entire cartoon just from hearing you describe it.
There you go. Me describing it was better than the actual cartoon. And
it
that's
really was.
First. That's definitely a first, because I don't describe anything well. So, Cory, it goes back to the host.
I finally understand what happened in that cartoon. I appreciate that. Like, I'm literally looking at a synopsis of it, and I'm just like, this is all new information. I watched this twice. I don't remember any of this shit. My brain just refuses.
It took 3 fucking people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Yeah.
when we go back to the hosts, it's like they fucking given up too. I mean,
they try to kill themselves with watermelons.
yeah.
Yeah.
They each eat a quarter, probably, I would say, of a watermelon in a single bite.
Yep, and of course they are cartoons, so their heads now are shaped like watermelons, and they decide to uh, swallow them and then shoot out the seeds like machine guns.
Now, real quick, did any of you ever do that when you were kids?
Swallow a watermelon whole to the point where my head is now shaped like a watermelon?
Let's say
No.
swallow some watermelon seeds from a much smaller bite and then spit them out like a gun.
I did
No,
spit them out.
I don't actually like watermelon,
Yeah.
as shocking as that might be.
I'm just saying because, well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of melon either, but like I never did it, but I remember hearing like my father, well, not my father, but my mother, and like so their generation. I remember hearing a couple people talk about doing that, and I was like, really? That's gross. What the fuck was wrong with you people?
Yeah, it's basically like, especially if you're shooting it at someone else, like you're basically spitting on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, we also live in the age of COVID right now, which is like, why would
Makes
you
it even
purposely
worse.
spit on someone?
Yeah.
But it like, even I would say as maybe not a very young child, but like a child of elementary to middle school age. For us, being guys in our current mid-30s, seedless watermelon was available. And you could buy regular watermelons that had seeds in them. But at the same time, we had those too. I ate them. I did not spit the fucking seeds at people. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is not...
Are you apologizing for not spitting on people, Keith?
I'm sorry. But guess what? Spitting things at people is not a game. Like... The closest thing I will get to that is if you are at a diner, drunk, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you are allowed to rip the top of your straw wrapper off and then blow into the straw to shoot the paper part on the other end at the person across from you. That is the closest.
You don't need to be drunk for that.
I was going to say, wait. If you're drunk, then it's legal to do that?
No, I'm just saying usually when I do that, I'm drunk.
Oh, okay.
So what you're saying is you're usually drunk.
Well, no, I'm usually... The only reason why I'm at a diner late at night is because I'm
The
drunk.
way you step foot into a diner is when you're drunk, okay.
No, no, yeah, well, kind of, because if I'm sober, then
I'm not at a
it's in the
diner.
morning and I'm making brunch for myself. The only reason why I'm going to a diner late at night, which... whatever, guys. The only reason why I go to a diner...
I'm not the only one that flips it on Keith.
It's the situation. When you're at a diner at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're drunk. There's no reason to be at a diner at 2 o'clock in the morning if you're not drunk.
You just got out of prom.
You're drunk.
No,
I wasn't drunk. Cory wasn't drunk. We were both at a diner.
I didn't go to prom, though.
Prom got out at...
Oh yeah, you didn't go to prom, but
Hey,
you went to
Tom.
Denny's with us afterwards.
Tom.
No, it wasn't. It was Bickford's.
Hey, Tom.
Brickford's, yes, that's right.
Tom.
Thank you. I forgot about that.
Prom got out at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. So if you were at that diner at 2, you were drunk.
Or really slow.
Well, Tom, that sounds like an intelligence issue. Everybody left except for you. You should probably get on your way.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're all done
Keith?
eating, and you're just sitting there just going, where'd everybody go? And in that case, oh, you weren't drunk, you were high.
No. I dropped my prom date off, and I think I got Cory so we could go to the diner.
God damn it.
No, I'm not even...
Upgrade.
I'm not even kidding. That's what ended up happening. I dropped Andrea off, and we all ended up going to the diner. The rest of us. It was But that wasn't the time I jokingly said I would burn the place down when they didn't have 2 pennies for my change. I So I'm paying the bill, and they didn't have any pennies left. And she just goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We don't have any pennies for your change." It was only 2 cents. And I jokingly, but like, didn't realize I was saying out loud. It was the voice in the back of my head talking, but I was just repeating it. And it said, "It's okay. I'll just burn this place down." Cory was behind me. Cory was behind me in line when I said that. He just remembers. The woman was horrified, and I turned around and was walking away because I didn't think anything of it, because I wasn't thinking, oh yeah, I said that out loud, and she's horrified. I'm thinking, okay, even if I said it out loud, she must be used to the voice in my head.
Because Tom, I hate to tell you this, but you're a psychopath, and that's exactly why we love you. But at the same time, when people test you, it comes out, and you're just like, oh, I can make these comments in public, and it's like, no, Tom, no, you need to keep those bottled up, just like Dexter. You need to find the bad people to kill, not the good people.
Oh, God.
I mean, this is kind of related, but about 2 years ago, I was in Virginia, and I was down at the lab, working, doing some research, and I had to go to Whole Foods to get myself some groceries because it was, within walking distance of my place. And I'm walking in there, and I realized I didn't like being around so many people, and it occurred to me, what if I just started, my inner thoughts, what if I just started saying them out loud? How would people react? Wouldn't that kind of scare them away? Wouldn't they think I'm a crazy person? And so, as a scientist, I decided to experiment, and I started talking out loud to myself. And boy, does it scare people away! They will quickly get away from you when they realize you're not holding a cell phone to your ear or wearing like a Bluetooth device. And it's wonderful for shopping. If you want to get people away from you, just start talking out loud to yourself. Whatever your inner thoughts are, they clear. They clear.
You're like browsing the deodorant, right? And somebody walks up near you, and you're like, well, this motherfucker wearing this thing, wearing blue shorts and a white top, looking at me right now as I'm talking, I could literally just kill them. And they just immediately run away. Who would have guessed that person you just described that got the attention of, that looked at you, and then you gave them horrible animosity? Or you could just be talking about, I don't know, killing hookers, and they just immediately go, oh shit, that guy kills hookers.
An actual example I could think of is when in Virginia, the grocery stores are allowed to sell wine, unlike Connecticut. And when I was grocery shopping, I was walking down the wine aisle, and I saw the bottle of wine that had the owl on it. And I like owls, and right away was like, oh, that's really cool. And I started talking out loud about owls, and I remember a woman turning and looking at me, and she just starts like quickly turning. She turned her head back and started walking away. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to myself. Leave me alone. Oh yeah, that's the whole purpose of talking to myself. And it works.
Hey Tom, if you need somebody to talk to, you can just call me. You don't need to like talk to a bottle of wine and freak out everybody in the vicinity. I'm just
but it's not as funny, Keith.
I know.
It's not as funny.
I know.
So it doesn't get as many points.
So I think what we need to do is to have Cory move on to Prometheus and Bob, so we can finish out this episode, and my wife can go to bed, and I can put my dog to bed. Because if I don't go downstairs and she doesn't bring him up here, then my dog's going to be an asshole and bark all night.
So hurry up, Cory.
So we're about to talk about his top secret.
Well, so
This is a videotape recorded 900,000 years ago by an alien using a remote control camera. It shows his attempts to educate a caveman they have codenamed Bob.
I mean, they must have time travel because eventually, like.
Well, I
The
mean,
name
it's an
Bob.
alien. It's an alien. Yeah, like, well, maybe that's where Robert gets his nickname from. All the Roberts out there. It's this first
Wait,
caveman.
Robert
Yeah.
gets his nickname from Bob, which then turns like Robert's so Robert is a nickname for Bob, which
No.
eventually the nickname
False.
for Robert is then Bob.
Other way around.
Other way around, Keith.
I thought that you were saying that where it like went full
No.
circle, where you're like, oh, it started as Bob, turned into Robert, and then went back into Bob.
All right, I know this is going to be a distraction, but I gotta ask, which one of you is naming your son Bobbert?
It's got to be Keith. We already have
definitely
too
not.
much. We have too much merchandise that has my son's actual name on it.
Ooh, you got a name picked?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little commentary.
Do you want to leave this
Yeah.
on the podcast here?
Oh, it's top secret. It's top secret, man.
Oh, it's oh man, top secret Zamir. That's a great fucking name. I love it.
We were gonna
That
go
is-
with top secret because I really do enjoy popcorn,
Oh man.
but top just went out.
I mean,
So-
that's better than like top
Bottom secret?
No, it's better than
No,
like
come on, no. God damn it. So anyway, they've been codenamed Prometheus and Bob.
I guess let's
And this
just
is
skip
tape
over
17,
oh, shit.
where Prometheus is trying to teach Bob art. So, one thing that's really awesome about this, and like Tom mentioned before, Claymation.
Mm.
This was always the highlight of KaBlam for me.
Me too.
And I feel like
Me
they,
too.
I don't know if they always went in the same order, but I feel like once you got to Prometheus and Bob, you knew you were in for a good time, but you also knew that the episode was almost over.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
So Prometheus is trying to show Bob on a rock, how to draw. He draws a little, four-legged creature, and of course, Bob, being a caveman, just tries to stab it. Doesn't work out for him. He then... Oh, one thing that they don't mention in the synopsis of Prometheus and Bob is there's always this monkey that's just, like, hanging out.
yeah. Yeah,
They
make
never
no
name the
mention of it.
monkey. They never name the monkey. It's always just the monkey. So Bob is trying to draw. He's actually drawing a few lines and then decides to the monkey eats some of the paint, so he just uses the monkey as like a spray can.
That got a legitimate laugh from me. I laughed my ass off at that when he squoze the monkey to spray the paint back onto the canvas.
Hold on. Is squoze a word?
Is it? I've been using it for 30-something years. It better be a word.
I mean,
and if it isn't,
think-
I coin it. It's my word.
I feel
trademark it.
like it's squeezed.
Copyright it.
He squeezed the monkey. That's the past tense.
It should be squoze.
I mean, I agree with you. Squoze sounds a lot better. I'm fairly certain that is the first time I've heard it when you said it just then. But
Yeah, here. Squoze. Simple past tense and past participle of squeeze. It is a word.
So is squeezed not a thing?
No, squeezed is also a thing, but
So it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just yours just happens to be a word
that sounds right.
that sounds better but less right.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. We both agree that it sounds better. I don't think it sounds as right, but whatever. So we're back with another take of them trying to do some art, and he I guess he elbows Prometheus in the face.
Yeah.
Then we're back with yet another take where the monkey's on top of Prometheus trying to wake him up. Pours some paint on him.
Then he wakes him up by pouring paint on him. And then he wakes up, and then Prometheus then hits Bob in the face with paint.
Then they do some face painting, and the monkey then tilts the camera to the right, where he's created like this really good art in the background that they can't see. That's Prometheus and Bob with the monkey standing on their shoulders.
Yeah, it's like a fucking like artistic mural that is very realistic of the three of them. The whole time that Bob's basically fucking finger painting and Prometheus is trying to teach Bob, which is like, I feel like that's it's like Prometheus is trying to teach Bob, and meanwhile the fucking monkey is
knows
like
everything.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, here's this fucking great artistic mural. It's like a slap in the face of science, of like the higher, you know.
Well, while we're here, I should point out D. Bradley Baker, the voice actor. We brought him up in previous episodes. He's done a million voices. I think, you know, the fish from American Dad. He's Captain Rex from the Clone Wars. He's literally been in a million things. He's the voice of the monkey, believe it or not. This is one of his earlier roles.
I thought you were going to say Prometheus.
No, that I was saving for next, because that's going to blow you away. Guess who Prometheus is?
I have no idea.
Steve Bloom, Wolverine himself.
Really?
Yep.
So the one
and
thing I
Spike
wanted to say
from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, okay, Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, Spike Spiegel.
The thing with Prometheus's voice is it reminds me a lot of Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like one of those
around the same time.
I think Mars Attacks was probably a few years later.
Absolutely.
Okay. I was wondering if maybe one was kind of ripping off the other.
Mars Attacks was definitely at least a few years later.
Yeah, Mars Attacks was ripping off Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember Independence Day came out, or at least the way I remember it is Independence Day came out, and then Mars Attacks came out like a couple of years or maybe a year later, and it was basically the joke version is the way I looked at it. You know how they used to have all the
Mars Attacks came out in 1996.
Scary movie and stuff like that.
96, it's the same year. Same year as this.
Oh, wow. When did Independence Day come out?
95?
Googling. Independence Day came out in 1996 as well.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. They were right on the heels of him.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, like, Independence Day, which granted, I do not have the month in here because I'm literally just Googling this, but it must have been like an early year, late year kind of thing to hit.
Well, Independence Day at least would have been a summer blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it came out on July 4th.
Yeah, and Mars Attacks...
That makes sense. Wait. Independence Day, when are we going to release that one? Huh? I
don't know. That's making any sense, though, because Mars Attacks came out... Oh, okay, no, it makes sense. December 13th.
Yeah.
But that's not the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's not the 4th of July. I was thinking about it like, that's before the 4th of July. Oh, if it was the previous year. Never mind. That's a bunch of bullshit right there. Years and months. I don't get paid for that bullshit.
So in the next sequence here, we have Prometheus trying to teach Bob how to play the game of bowling. Which I find it funny that now 2 episodes in a row we have to talk about bowling.
Yeah. Well,
a sport that you both are really into and I can give 2 shits less about.
I love that, like, Prometheus goes to roll the ball, and he's like, hey, okay, there's the pins. I'm going to roll the ball into the pins. He goes, Bob, you go. And Bob takes the ball, holds it over his head, and tries to just straight up, walks up to the pins and tries to murder them with the ball. Like, just smash them.
I wonder I wonder if that's like his go-to on everything, because he did first try and stab the painting.
Yeah.
True.
So I wonder if in like the next episode, like whatever he's tried to be taught, he just instinctively goes to violence on it.
I mean, he's
I
a
think
caveman.
that is a common theme.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a caveman, it's all about survival, right? So, like, your first instinct is like, new thing, kill it. Right? It's like
Makes sense.
Tom is being a scientist. He's like, oh, new thing, smash it and look at the pieces.
True.
Right?
That's a
See, and
scientist right there.
That's why Tom is Prometheus and I am Bob. So in the next scene, we have the caveman about to basically toss the ball at the pins. And we have both Prometheus and the monkey trying to explain, no, roll it. And then the monkey is just in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prometheus is trying to get the monkey to move. And the caveman throws the ball up and takes out the camera. So we have Prometheus once again trying to explain the game to Bob, and this time the monkey uses some sort of,
like a
what
bone.
was that, an animal bone?
It's like a rib
Yeah, it looked
bone.
like
It's like a hook,
Yeah.
a hooked bone, like a U-shaped bone.
Yeah.
We'll call it a mammoth rib for simplicity.
Oh, I guess, yeah, if you look earlier in the clip, he definitely takes it from that thing.
Oh,
Then he
it
uses it
does.
to hook the ball back and knock Prometheus over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that,
What the fuck? Alright, so
no.
I'm like
exactly.
watching it, and I'm just like, what is he doing here?
Yeah. Bob sticks his tongue in the fucking ball because he's a pervert. He's a fucking pervert.
I forgot about that.
You're
It's
like,
so weird.
you're like, hey, what the fuck is happening here? No, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's happening.
He's like, I'm
So-
bored of this bowling shit. Let me tongue fuck this ball.
Yeah,
I gotta ask real quick,
Bob
Keith.
decides to get down and dirty with the bowling ball.
Yeah, I gotta ask Keith real quick. Have you ever stuck your tongue in any of your bowling balls? Because I
Never.
haven't.
That is never. Oh, okay, so no. Yeah. The fact that I'm pausing here, no. The fact that I'm pausing here
Not my
creates
Not my
an amount of-
tongue.
No, it creates. But, no, but the fact that I'm pausing here creates this humorous moment that I'm gonna give a total letdown to. It's gonna be like a total, like you guys are not just you just be like, oh, whatever. But Storm Bowling, their bowling balls actually they have this compound they put in them that they make them smell like a scent. And
Smelly balls.
I have a bowling ball called the Phase 2, and it smells like cupcakes. and literally, like I do not know how they fucking do it because you have to like create a smell that constantly emits, like right. Like molecules. Am I wrong, Tom? Tom is a scientist. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm just picturing you smelling bowling balls.
In order to
I'm
have
just
a smell,
imagining Keith holding this ball up, and he's just smelling it, and he's just like looking
Cory-
around, and just like, I'm about to tongue fuck this ball.
Cory, if you ever watched The Big Lebowski, you would have seen Jesus hold up
Tongue
his
fuck the
bowling
ball?
ball
Hey,
and literally
but-
tongue flick the edge of his ball.
I will concede that he tongue fucked that ball, but
tongue
we do
flicks
not
it.
know if that ball was smelly or not. That should have been, for all we know, that could have been a very clean, non-smelly ball, which
It
I could
literally-
understand then
It
flicking.
literally just
but,
came back
you know.
in the ball return, and he picked it up from the ball return.
Okay,
Yeah.
good point.
It was
Yeah,
not, but
I concede to
But
you.
I want to say the Storm Bowling they sent their not the polyurethane, not the plastic balls, but the reactive resin balls. They have some sort of compound scent that they put in those balls, and they make everyone different. Every single ball is different, which is like every line. So like if you buy a phase 2, it smells like cupcakes. If you buy like a phase 3, I think they did those like pomegranate scented. So like, and it's actually when I was bowling with the phase 2, I would open up the bag and put it on there, and people would be like, "Oh man, did somebody bring cupcakes here?" Like it would like because it was in the bag for like a week, and like I opened it up, like the smell, everybody would just be like, "Holy shit, who brought? Where's these fucking cupcakes?" And I'd be like, "Oh no, it's my bowling
My
ball.
balls.
My ball just smells really fucking good. You want to smell my ball? You want my ball?
Just don't lick it.
There you go. I mean, if
It's
you look at
mine,
it,
don't
it
lick it.
probably just tastes like fucking oil, like bowling ball oil blaming.
Just gonna say you oil your balls, Keith, huh? Was it vegetable oil?
I mean that one I do.
They're gonna have to start coating these bowling balls with whatever same plastic that they do for Nintendo Switch cartridges, just to get you stop putting your fucking tongue in the ball.
Stop fucking your balls. God damn it.
Oh my god.
So
Oh my god.
we are fading.
Yeah, take us
Fast.
home, Corey.
So Prometheus is trying to get this fucking ball off of his tongue.
Oh god, yeah, because the tongue fucked it, and that's it.
Oh man, and of course there's a precarious amount of boulders above them on a cliff.
Yep.
So after he gets the ball off his tongue, it goes flying, knocks down all the boulders, takes out the ship, and they go running off. Oh man, Prometheus and Bob,
And
I would swear, like just go. If you're listening to this, don't watch the rest of the episode if you don't want to. Just go watch Prometheus and Bob. It's really the best of the best on this.
Or like watch
Yeah.
the rest of it at like 2 times speed. You know, like if you
Well,
have
yeah,
that
like
option.
I feel like the other ones kind of overstay their welcome for the most part.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Sniz and Fondue,
no,
it's just like, all right, this is not what I'm here for.
Yeah, but the action league was like for that era that was solid action figure stop motion.
Yeah,
Like it was
yeah. I have
mean-
no complaints about Action League. I feel like
it was
they
purposely garbage. It was like literally the episode was about garbage.
I feel like I feel like the narration for Action League is what kind of kills it a little bit for me, because they do
Yeah.
the what campy over narration where they're like, oh, will they do this, will this happen, will they, like, it's good
Yeah.
for like if there's a cliffhanger for like tomorrow's episode, but when you're gonna resolve it right when you come back from a commercial break, it just seems like a little bit too much for me.
True.
yeah.
Especially in an episode like that, they were doing a 5 to 6 minute episode, and they had a commercial break in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like the typical like 30-minute episode that's actually 22 minutes that had a commercial break in the middle. It was like, guys, you got 5 minutes of material and you did a cliffhanger.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
to be honest, like if were going to rank these in order of like which ones I thought were, best to worst, or worst to best, depending on how I'm feeling. I didn't realize how much I disliked Life with Loopy until I
Oh,
actually tried to talk
Yeah.
about it.
It's
I
garbage.
remember hating that as a kid.
The second I tried to talk about it, I was like, I don't want to talk about this. I just don't. Like, I don't want this to exist. And
It's
then I
not
realized, like,
entertaining.
halfway through, that my brain hadn't fired any synapses while I was watching it, and I did not remember any of it. Thankfully. It was just like, my brain, on its own, just decided to be like, nope.
Your
All I
brain did
remember
right.
are the characters' faces. I did not even comprehend the story, any of that shit, for which I am actually thankful. Thank you, Keith, for getting us through that. Uh,
I'm actually upset because I remember the details and I don't want to. Like I
yeah,
remember
well,
there's Loopy
Tom,
and
don't
Frank is the
Tom.
robot.
yeah, no,
Why are you
nope,
going
we're by it.
full
Yeah.
PTSD into it? Let's move past. Let's forget and
Yeah, so for me, I would say it's easily Prometheus and Bob is the best thing on this show,
yeah.
followed by
Mm-hmm.
Action League,
Oh yeah.
followed by I guess Henry and June's skits,
So
I guess.
let's
And
rate
then
this.
I
Sniz and
guess.
Fondue.
Let's rate this. Let's rate this episode. Like I will start off and I will say Prometheus and Bob is a solid 6.
Real
And
quick, Keith, are you gonna rate every segment, or are you just gonna give an overall rating of the
nope,
episode?
I'm gonna say Prometheus and Bob is a solid 6, and the rest of it is a 4 at best.
Wow.
Damn.
Because Prometheus, well, no, okay, I'll say Prometheus and Bob is a 6. I'm gonna say that Action League for the time period is a 6. But I'm gonna say that Sniz and Fondue and Loopy are somewhere around a 3 or 4, to be honest. So I'm gonna say that my overall rating is a 5, being that like with the caveat that like there's some gold nuggets. There are some gold nuggets in this episode, saying like it's not that you shouldn't watch this episode, and it's not that you shouldn't watch the series because maybe it gets better from here because this is episode 1 of season 1, and I feel like they'll hit their stride, and they probably have, and I just don't remember it because I definitely watched a bunch of this, like, 20 plus years ago. But it's based on this one episode, it's really hard. This is rocky. This is really fucking rocky. So that's that's where I'm sitting. That's it.
All right. Sounds good. I'm going to give it a. What'd you give it? A 6?
Well, I gave the top end a 6. I think I gave what the overall a 5.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Because yeah, I was gonna say overall, I'm giving it a 5. And like we've mentioned, I think Corey used the word roller coaster. Um, Maybe it was Keith, but yeah, it was a roller coaster of an episode where, it just. Well, it's funny with a roller coaster. Usually, you have a build up. Things get better and better before the drop. But in this case, it was
it
just awful at the beginning
it
to the point
started
where
with a drop.
yeah, it started with a drop to the point where I almost, well, no, I didn't watch it. The first go around through, at that point, halfway through Sniz and Fondue, I was just like, I'm just gonna play that in the background and not pay attention to it so much. And then was like, oh crap, no, I need to pay attention to this, and I had to watch it a second time. But yeah, really, the Sniz and Fondue was bad. I would give that like a 4, maybe a 3. Like Life with Loopy, I would give like a goddamn. I'm gonna give that a 2 because it just was not entertaining. It wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining. But then you got to like Prometheus and Bob and Action League, which were like I don't know. I give them 6s or 7s. So overall, I mean, I the nostalgia thing is what would beef up the score. But I'm in the mood right now where nostalgia doesn't affect my rating at all. So unfortunately, uh, KaBlam is going to suffer with at least a 5, a generous 5, in my opinion.
All right, so I was kind of hoping you would talk a little bit longer because I'm actually doing the math on this for me.
Oh,
So, for those following along, I'm basically breaking it down into 5 segments. We got Henry and June, Sniz and Fondue, Action League Now, Life with Loopy, and of course Prometheus and Bob. So for the Henry and June segments, which they have multiple acts of this shit, I would give it about a 5 because the animation's not there, but some of the comedy is. Sniz and Fondue, a 4. Action League, an 8. Life with Loopy, a 2. Like, it's not... Like, I make it
terrible.
out like it's the worst thing.
Yeah.
And it pretty much is the worst thing we've seen on cartoon commentary so far. But I will say the character design isn't the absolute worst, and I kind of do like what they're doing with the character designs. It's just the actual story of it and what they end up doing is just horrible. So a 2 for that. But then Prometheus and Bob I have at a 9. So
Nice.
I don't know with the math we have there. I think that's a 5.6, but I'll round it down to a 5.5 for everything.
There you go. So I'm a 5, Tom's a 5, you're a 5.5.
Yeah, so this is probably our worst rated episode so far. But one thing I've noticed is I think we've laughed harder.
Well, which is funny.
Talking
like,
about this than
we did have a lot of
else.
Yeah, to my original point, like, I'm rating this not that great, but at the same time, there are little gold nuggets in this episode that are, and I think that's exactly why this show survived, is that, like, right from episode 1, they have gold nuggets that keep people watching it. And although I guarantee as time goes on, the episodes get better, so it's probably more like a 6 or 7 if you watch it long term. You had those little nuggets to kind of nibble on the whole time. And that's, you know, because what do you do with gold nuggets? You eat them up, right? That's what
I thought you exchange them for cash.
That's what humans eat. Humans eat gold nuggets. You don't?
Now you're making me hungry.
No, I don't think so, Keith.
Oh.
I want some nugs.
Oh. I need to take some laxatives or something then. We're not supposed to eat gold nuggets. God damn it. Explains why I have not pooped in a week.
Wait, are you crapping gold nuggets, Keith?
I've been eating them. I mean, I will eventually.
Well, then you will be crapping gold nuggets.
I will eventually be crapping. Well, you know,
put a sieve on your toilet.
You know, they say.
I'll pay for it.
They say dress and eat is the job you want, and I want it to be the goose that laid the golden egg. So I
was wondering where you were going with that.
I feathered myself and I ate straight up gold. And pretty sure I need to go to a proctologist.
Yes, that's the right one.
The
butt doctor.
Butt doctor. Hey, it's really awkward because I'm usually saying, "Hey, doctor, butt."
Oh God.
Well, because it's usually me arguing with the doctor about what I should do. I think that what we need to do is we need to close out this episode with the pledge of Blam Legions. Which I've emailed both of you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I have it right here.
I have it pulled up. I just have to find the right window.
All right.
Where did I put this thing?
We need to... I think that's a very proper ending to this episode, is the pledge of Blam Legions that they do at the end of the episode.
He'll get it right one time.
Eventually.
We're going to murder this thing. It's going to be...
This is going to be like our intro, where it's just like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, sounds like second graders trying to read the same thing at the same time.
Yep.
This is literally going to sound like elementary school kids doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
All right, we all got it up?
Yep.
All right.
And now are we going to look at it?
I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, and then we will start reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I
pledge allegiance to
KaBlam
and
the excited snakes of America.
And
to the
cartoonists
for
who
make us
stand
one
comic book
irreplaceable, liver
free
with
jetpacks
for all.
That was so
God
bad.
damn, we don't know how to read.
Either that or our internet. No, it's the internet.
Did you bums put your hand over your hearts?
No, not even one bit.
I did. I did it right.
This is not
you guys
an
fucked
internet
up.
over our hearts thing.
Yep, you fucked up. I did it right.
This is a purely KaBlam. Oh God, we just really Cory.
Yeah, we'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to three guys ramble about cartoons. If you'd like to ramble about our ramblings or what we rambled about, you can join the Cartoon Commentary Podcast group on Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, or corrections for us, you can reach us at cartooncommentary.podcast@gmail.com. And until all are one, I've been Cory.
I've been Tom.
Well, God damn it. I'm Keith.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dick.